Six Nations, week number 3. Wales get the victory over England, 21 points to 13. This was some game. It started just before 6 in the morning here in New Zealand. So I was up out of bed and watching these guys just knock each other back and back and back. It's funny because Super Rugby started a week ago. And, I've been watching all these games. The average tackle percentages have been like 75%. There's been scoring games at a point a minute. But there was something strangely satisfying about the start of this game where both sides were just knocking, like I said, just the stuffing out of each other. They were getting off the line and just hammering each other. It was pretty brutal. There weren't that many points early. It was pretty tense. It was full of tackles, people getting turnovers, just flying off the line, aggressive defending, and that was the story of the start of the game. England got a penalty, made it 3-0. Wales evened it up 3-all. First try was for Curry in the 27th minute, kind of from the side of a ruck. Some quick thinking there. Made it 10 points to 3. Youngs gave Tipperick, who kind of had his back turned for that one, a wee slap on the back of the head as a indication perhaps he should have stopped them. It was his opposite number that got the try. But yeah, that was all the scoring in the first half. It was 3 points to Wales, 10 points to England. The stats, Wales had more run meters, but also more ball. But England's tackling was at 90% in that first half. And they were still doing the kicks, which they'd exploited kind of France and Ireland too. But you could feel, not always, but a lot of the time, Wales, especially with Liam Williams, were just that touch more secure at the back. Sometimes they managed to find space and get it into the corners throughout the course of the game. But they were definitely not all at sea like France were. And Williams under the high ball was very secure, and his positioning was really good. So I guess that's kind of testament to having a world-class 15, playing, and how much secure that makes things, especially with that way England were playing. But, I mean, even with the world-class 15, sometimes England were able to just put that ball on the end of the string and, and if not keep the possession, they certainly kept playing the game in the right areas of the field. And to be fair, I thought England were good value for that lead at half-time, man. I thought they looked sharper. Wales weren't kind of able to crack that English defence when they did have the ball. I kind of expected the second half to go a similar way. But the second half, Wales definitely came back. There was a fair bit of verbal between Alan Wynne-Jones and Kyle Sinclair. And then Sinclair got penalised for, charging Anscombe. Anscombe put a little chip over and he was chasing it through, and Sinclair kind of held his line. They penalised him for it. He kind of dipped his shoulder. I guess it's one that if you're English, you go, he's just holding his line, that's fine. If you're Welsh, you maybe say, he dipped his shoulder into him just to take him out. Yeah, I think referees are generally going to penalise a prop ahead of a number 10, so perhaps that's part of that. It was pretty soft, but I suppose he could have just not dipped his shoulder. I don't know. I don't want to get too focused on that kind of thing. Sinclair also got penalised not that long after for a tackle around the neck of Alan Wynne-Jones. So he got substituted pretty much straight after that because he conceded a couple of quick penalties. So up until then, he'd been putting in a pretty good effort. But England did seem to get a little bit rattled as Anscombe kicked a couple of kind of quick penalties to make it a 1-point game, 9 points to 10, and then Farrell kicked it out on a full. Just seemed like there was that little bit of edge lost, which had kind of been there in that first half, and I guess the momentum started to shift slightly back towards Wales. Although England did kick a penalty to make it 13 points to 9. So out of that kind of penalty strike zone. But then Hill on 68, he got his try after 34 phases. that is both testament to the Welsh handling and I guess willpower, but also the English defence. The fact that it took 34 phases before they were finally broken. Yeah, man, that was just crazy, crazy stuff. That put Wales in front, 16 points to 13. And then right towards the end, the 77th minute, Adams got his try from a damn big cross kick. Now, I'm not much of a guy to, I guess, shout at the TV or something when I'm watching the game. I'm generally pretty quiet, especially when my kids are asleep. But even during that try, I was just like, whoa, that's expletive. Because that was like a proper catch. It didn't look like he had any rights to get it. He managed to catch it somehow. He bobbled it forward. He still managed to catch it. He was just short and he managed to extend over to the line to score the try. You won't see many better tries than that one. It was just a thing of beauty. Not if you're an England fan, but you still got to appreciate the skills that it took to gather that ball in and get it down. That was game. That was game. Yeah, man. Crazy stuff. In the end, I mean, Wales still had the better of the run meters, the possession, the territory. But England, man, 94% tackling rate overall. Whatever John Mitchell's doing with that defence, it seems to be doing a pretty good job. I mean, Wales were no slouches at 85, which is always a pretty good number. But they only made 88 tackles to England's 210, which is just a phenomenal effort. England will be pretty happy with their line-out. It was 100%, even if they only had 4 throw-ins. But I guess it, again, speaks to the way England were kind of kicking that ball and putting Wales under pressure. Wales had 13 line-outs. And they only managed a success rate of 76%. So that's the thing. England will put you under pressure with those kicks. And if you don't get your line out right, you're going to be in strife. So I guess that's another area for Wales to work on. But, I mean, they'll definitely take the fact that they got a win over England. It keeps their hopes of a Grand Slam and perhaps a Six Nations title alive. England will suddenly become pretty big Ireland fans in that last week, hoping that Ireland can put a stop on, I suppose, or Scotland fans next round when Wales travel up to Murrayfield. So, yeah, they denied England a losing bonus point. Bigger definitely made a difference when he came on. That's not to say Anscombe was bad, but under those high balls and some of those up and unders and whatnot, he got 2 try assists and Wales got 2 tries. So that's how important Bigger was to that Welsh effort. I mean, Curry was phenomenal for England. He had 24 tackles, scored the only try, turnovers. He was just everywhere. The guy's proper class. But, yeah, it was a heck of a game. England have got Italy in the next round, so I guess we can expect to see a few changes there. Like I said, Wales travel up to Murrayfield. But the table was still pretty tight. Wales are first on 12 points. England are second on 10 points. So Wales will be looking for a slam, which will put it beyond anybody's reach. But England, with those bonus points they've picked up in the first couple of rounds, are still very much in this. So, yeah. What did you guys think of the game? I thought it was a proper good watch. Very physical. You can definitely feel the vibe of that game. Although everyone was kind of, shaking hands and very good about it at the end of the game. There was a bit of kind of niggle and biffo a little bit during the actual game itself, but I thought, the spirit of the game was still kind of upheld at the end. And, both sides did themselves pretty proud, even if England didn't get the result. But good on Wales because they definitely lifted in that second half and were able to just get some magic over the line in terms of 34 phases and one magnificent take on that cross kick. But, yeah, you guys let me know what you thought of the game. How do you think things are going to pan out for the rest of the tournament? And, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.